All right, AJ, so we're going to start off with a very fun matchup in the middleweight division. Julian, the Cuban Missile Crisis Marquez, opens up as a minus 230 favorite with a plus 190 comeback for Jordan, the Beverly Hills Ninja Wright. Let's, before we talk about the matchup, man, let's talk about the matchup of nicknames. These are two of the best nicknames head-to-head that we've seen in quite some time. Cuban Missile Crisis, versus Beverly Hills Ninja. Which nickname do you like more?
Probably the Missile Crisis. Although I gotta love the shout out to Chris Farley with the Beverly Hills Ninja, but I'm going just Cuban Missile Crisis. It sounds great. You know, you have the Bay of Pigs and everything. I like that one a lot better. What about you?
I think it's close. I think it's very close, but I'm going to edge out for the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's a little tougher. The Beverly Hills Ninja, it's a little comedic, but it's not funny when he's in there knocking your fucking block off in the cage, man. So that's partly why I give the 50-50 split, but a little bit of an edge for Marquez. Nonetheless, 9-2 is Julian Marquez, 3-1 in the UFC. 12-1 is Jordan Wright, 2-1 in the UFC. Now, Jordan Wright has only lost once in his career, and it was to Joaquin Buckley. He got knocked out. However, he does a lot of knocking out himself. Julian Marquez has never been knocked out, never been submitted. He has lost 2 fights via decision, though. So, AJ, let's talk about the matchup. Julian Marquez, he could be a slow starter at times, and that's going to really make or break this matchup right here. But for Jordan Wright, he is a man who is very composed, even when he's under pressure. And I think we saw that in the Buckley fight, even though it didn't pan out the way that he wanted it to. We saw that he was able to handle some of the pressure of Joaquin Buckley. However, do you think that the slow start might be really problematic here for Marquez, who Jordan Wright can get you out of there with one punch? I mean, Marquez can too, but Jordan Wright can as well. So what do you think?
I definitely think so, especially because Jordan Wright is a faster starter too, and he's always down. He doesn't mind. He's a karate striker. He doesn't mind fighting off the back foot, and he also is very good striking off the front foot as well, man. The way this matchup has, if Jordan Wright can get those kicks going, it's going to be a lot of trouble for Julian Marquez. It's always hard to start when a dude just keeps kicking you from far away, and all you really have is power shots, or you're trying to work your hands, trying to get in on him, and he just keeps side kicking you, leg kicking you, hooks. Just it's a crazy, interesting one. And even if Julian Marquez does kind of come on the inside, Jordan Wright has some crazy knees to answer for him too, man. I think this one's going to be a very fun technical stand-up, but don't discount Julian Marquez because he has those sneaky submissions. He'll literally, things will happen out of nowhere, boom, submission attempt like that. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. And for a dude that thick and like that big, they're fighting the middleweight, but Julian Marquez is an absolute specimen of a human being. For being that big, he's also very, very fast.
I agree with you, man. The thing that is interesting about his submissions is what I have written down in my notes. None of his submissions come from takedowns, man. Like, he doesn't take you down, I'm going to submit you. It's something random. Oh, snatch the guillotine. You know what I mean? Something random. Oh, I'm going to go for the darts. It's like, it's those random, unpredictable events, which is Jordan Wright doesn't often fall into those random, predictable events too often, though, man. If you're looking at a takedown average per 15 minutes, both of them have 0% right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're looking to stand and bang. That's what they do. That's how these knockouts are coming from, or where the knockouts are coming from. However, takedown defense, 53% for Marquez, 100% for Jordan Wright. Interesting note there. And Julian Marquez, he does have a much higher submission average. I mean, even though Jordan Wright has 5 submission wins, none of them are in the UFC. So that's why that stat is that. Now let's talk about just like legitimately on the feet, man. Julian Marquez, he likes to walk you down, and he's kind of like the Terminator, man. If you watch him, you can hit him as many times as you want. He's pressuring forward, and he's very flat-footed, which I think does well for his cardio. He's not bouncing around too much like a Jordan Wright is. He's just stalking you, ready to drop bombs on you. But AJ, I think that Jordan Wright's stand-up is much more technical than Julian Marquez's. No offense here, but I see Marquez throw shots sometimes that it's like, a professional MMA fighter doesn't necessarily throw those shots. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the boxing can be a little clunky at times. But don't get me wrong. Even if he lands that clunky hit on you, you're going to sleep. So technical versus a little less technical. Who do you think has the edge overall in the stand-up? I know their stand-ups are different, but who has the edge? Faster, maybe is Jordan Wright, maybe. He's a little slow for the middleweight division. Power, I think, got to go to Marquez. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on all of those, man. I said the exact same thing. Wright's going to have the technical stand-up advantage. And what I like about Wright's stand-up, too, he has more weapons to hit you with. Whereas, like you said, with Marquez, he's a little bit more flat-footed, a little bit more plodding around. He's just going to stalk you down, throw those big shots, start winging shots. And if he connects, I give him the power advantage as well. But it's hard to say because Jordan Wright also has some serious power on them. And then just stand-up alone, overall, I'd give it to Jordan Wright just because of the amount of tools he has in his toolbox that he's able to pull out, whether it's knees, kicks, elbows, fists flying. He has a lot of them, and he can hurt you in these weird angles. The only difference, though, man, in the defense, Julian Marquez is defensively very sound. Yeah. Whereas if Jordan Wright gets hurt, he starts reaching. He starts kind of putting his hands out there trying to block stuff, which in karate they do teach you, is step out and actually block stuff. But that's how you get KO if somebody comes around. A hook on that one. We saw it in the Buckley fight. He started reaching, and Buckley just went right around the hand and boop, tapped the chin, out.
You see, one thing about that Buckley fight, though, that I thought was that I just think the speed was a little too much for Jordan Wright. Like, Buckley is so fast for the middleweight division because he's not a real middleweight, really. You know what I mean? This dude's stepping on the scale at like 183, drinking body armor. You know what I'm saying? Trying to like get that weight up a little bit. So to see a real middleweight versus another real middleweight in Jordan Wright versus Julian Marquez, I honestly think that the one person who lands the clean shot wins the fight. Like, this is a very even matchup to me, even though Marquez is a minus 230 favorite. So let's talk about odds there. Do you agree with the line here, AJ?
I personally no, but I can see where it's coming from. A lot of the times I'm like, man, what are these guys thinking? But I can see it just because Julian Marquez is a little bit more, what's the word I want to say? Like in the media, like he's a little bit more present. He's a little bit more, at least has the hype around him. Where Jordan Wright just really, he kind of looks goofy. He's not really talking shit. He's not staying relevant. He's just there to fight. He's kind of like a Wonder Boy. How Wonder Boy never really caught steam, never really caught a big fan base until he became, I don't even remember if he's champ or not. That goes to show right there. Like, it doesn't really even, didn't get the fans behind him. And I can see the same thing happening for Jordan Wright, but he is fighting out of an absolute banger of a camp. So you can't discount that.
Well, that's what I was going to say, man. Jackson Wink MMA, man. The great state of New Mexico is where Jordan Wright is training out of. Julian Marquez, though, training out of Glory MMA and Fitness. So this is going to be Winklejohn, right, versus James Krause. I mean, who are you giving the edge to, man? Try to take the bias hat off for like 2 seconds, man. You feel me? James Krause is probably going to be motivated as ever, being that last week he just cost his fighter Tim Elliott. I'm not going to say he cost it, but he's taking accountability. He told Tim Elliott he was up 2-0 when, didn't end up being that way. Not in the judge's eyes, at least. So who has the edge in the camp here, AJ?
Yeah, man, this is actually going to be a really good fight because in the chaos, I think Marquez can win it. If he gets a little dirty, makes it a crazy fight, I think Marquez can get it done. If it stays technical, right, all day long. And me personally, bias aside, I'm going with the karate style, man. Right. I like Wright. I think he's going to be striking. I think he's going to be staying at length on this one. I'm going with the underdog, man. I see a little bit of value in that plus 190. I'm going Wright by decision, though. I don't think either of these guys are going to be able to finish each other. I think it's going to be able to come in the late rounds. That could be wrong, though. Both these dudes are absolute killers and have the power to get it done. So who you got and why, there?
Well, I will just comment on this really quickly, man. If you're going decision on Marquez versus Wright, this would be the first decision that either of these fighters will have won in their entire careers. Jordan Wright has never lost a decision, actually, man. Like I said, his only loss is via knockout. Marquez has lost 2 decisions, though, early in his career. Now, I will say that, not super early in his career. Man only has 11 fights, but notable wins. Sam Alvey, Darren Stewart, Phil Hawes, and Maki Pitolo for Julian Marquez. Ike Villanueva is really the only notable win for Jordan Wright. So experience is definitely going to be a factor here, but I agree with you, AJ. I'm seeing value in the plus 190 line of Jordan Wright. I think if he could start quick and Julian Marquez comes out to his patented slow starts, I think it could be a really early night, man. And I don't know if he would be able to knock him out or submit him. Well, I guess we'll just find out then, but I think Jordan Wright is going to be motivated, man, and every time we discount the man, he comes back and wins. So that's the thing, is he's a dangerous man always. Forget about how goofy it is or whatever the case may be. He is a killer in the ring. So both of us going on Jordan Wright, going with the underdog pick there, man, right on. I'll take it. We can move on to the next one.